My name is Alex Shlagman. I'm one of the founding partners of savethehighstreet.org. Well, there's different answers to that question. Save the High Street formed in 2017, so it's coming up to 8-9 years now. But prior to that, been building stuff to help reinvent and revive high streets for a decade longer. Over the last 25 years, perceptively, the major challenge facing high streets are often the biggest opportunities. Empty space, the gaps left by big brands disappearing from high streets and shopping centres around the UK, big challenge. Huge opportunity, new generation of high street entrepreneurs coming through with access to the space and support they need to be successful. Big challenge. The internet, huge opportunity, connecting the dots between local and online commerce, creating an opportunity for consumers to find the things they want locally or online, to experience the things they want locally or online, and to fulfill the things they want locally or online. Huge opportunity for brick and mortar to actually play a massive role in the future of omnichannel commerce. So for me, sometimes the biggest opportunities are very closely aligned to the biggest challenges. At savethehighstreet.org, we've been doing all kinds of things over the last year. So there's a few particular projects I'd like to shine a light on. Some of the things we've been doing in relation to empty space have been particularly high profile. So we've got gaps in shopping centres that need to be filled by businesses that fit the needs of that local centre and the catchment, but also with businesses that have the support they need to achieve their potential, whatever that might be. So over the last few months, we've been launching new pop-up incubators in shopping centres around the UK, such as the Victoria Centre in Southend, where 250 businesses applied for a competition to win one of 6 empty units. There were so many great applicants that a 7th unit was opened up, and all those 7 businesses now are up and trading and under a more destination brand we've created called The Bridge. A bunch of really enthusiastic entrepreneurs who have the right fit for this local shopping centre, have those kind of things you can't teach, that willingness to run through a brick wall to make it work, but are surrounded by a end-to-end support program to make sure they can focus on the things they're good at and ensure the support's there for everything else. There's a whole range of these pop-up incubators now launching in different shopping centres, and we're really excited to see that some of them have led from short periods of rent-free space into long-term leases, which is ultimately what we're looking for here, the win-wins from across the industry. Next generation entrepreneurs who are actually in a position to actually be long-term tenants. Independent business is absolutely central to the future of retail and high streets. Big brands have very publicly been shrinking or disappearing from high streets over the last decade. As we are at this conference today, the last week's news around W.H. Smith has hit the headlines. We all know the stories from Topshops to Debenhams and beyond. Those gaps need to be either repurposed into other uses or filled by independent brands that are either starting or scaling. So the independent is a real centerpiece for the future of the high street. The role of the independent has evolved in terms of potentially its significance relatively, because there are less of these big national chains taking a lot of space on high streets. But fundamentally, we're seeing the same things on high streets. We're seeing independents who are fantastic at their trade. They're amazing at cutting hair, cooking food, making the product. Whatever it is their raison d'etre was why they started the business, typically the independent business owner is fantastic at that, they're passionate about it, and they will continue to spend their time doing that. The challenge is building a business around a trade is a whole nother game. Marketing, finance, operations, HR. There are so many different things where you're a big business, you have teams of people supported by agencies and consultants and budgets that run those departments. And as a small business owner, it all sits under that independent entrepreneur maybe a couple of managers, some friends they can pull in, and whatever they can pull together in terms of some outsourced support. The big change we're really looking for here at Save the High Street, and we're focused on, is how do we radically change the economics of supporting these entrepreneurs to excel as businesses, not just as tradespeople. And so for us, the answer lies in a combination of deep domain expertise combined with cutting edge technologies. So over the last year, savethehighstreet.org has been testing and rolling out a new AI-first operating system for helping these small businesses build businesses around their trade. So really excited this show here. We're starting to talk a little bit more about hellothriver.com, and there's even going to be some examples, I think, on stage where we're going to be talking to what are the opportunities for these independents to double down on what they love doing and succeed while everything else can be supported and done for you using a mix of technology and human expertise. So here at savethehighstreet.org, we believe that high streets need to change for the better. Standing still is going backwards. And so innovation is a central tenet to what we need to think about as an industry. Change, what does that look like? So the big things we focus on are, what are the things that we all know should happen? These aren't revolutions, it's more how do we change the economics of making them possible? So one example of that is over the last few months we've launched hellothriver.com. HelloThriver's ambition here is to radically improve the economics and impact of supporting high street entrepreneurs. Another thing we've been focused on at savethehighstreet.org is how do we take empty space and attract lots more small, independent, local businesses to apply for the opportunity to try their offering out in a local high street unit, shopping centre unit, before they take a longer term lease, wrap a load of support around them so that they're in a position to get as much from that first 3-month period as possible and be in the best position to take a long-term lease off the back end of it. Another big thing we focus on here, but is an industry-wide piece, is very much around collaborations. And maybe it doesn't sound like innovation, but actually, how do we get everybody who cares about high streets to get behind the changes that we're trying to make locally? And local champions exist everywhere. There's people who are trying to have the impact they want in the places they love. And so a lot of the time it's about how do we nurture those local community champions to really get behind the good changes that shopping centres and high streets are looking for locally.